You have to have two jobs. Okay? There are some bad-minded people who cannot see the good in anything. What's up, YouTube? It's your girl Malika, aka Mali, aka Malibu, whatever you want to call me. You don't know that it's me, and this is Malika's Flex. Welcome back to all returning subscribers and viewers, and welcome to all new viewers to this channel. I am Malika, and on this channel I speak about multiple opportunities to work overseas and also online. Today I wanted to debunk some misinformation about working, not just teaching. You guys know I tend to cover teaching things or topics on this channel. However, I want to send this message out to everyone who desires to move to the United States. Now, prior to coming to the United States, I used to hear a whole lot of foolishness. I used to hear things such as, why do you want to go to work in the United States? You won't be able to take off from work. They'll take money out of your pay. And I'd hear so many things. Now, what I want you guys to focus on is the fact that the title of this video says misconceptions about working in the US on a J1 or an H1B visa. What most of us need to realize is if you're here on a J1 visa as a professional, so we know that students get J1 visas, you know, to either study or to, you know, do those work and travel programs. I'm not speaking about those individuals because they're here for a short term. I'm speaking about those of us who are here on a J1 visa for 3 years or more, or an H1B visa for the 1 to 6 years, okay? So naturally, to get any of those two visa types, J1 or H1 visa, you would be a professional. So I'm speaking to people who have their degrees and they have their experience in whatever field it is that they, you know, that they specialize in. So if you are in the US and you are working, people tend to say, like I said before, you can't get any days off. And I'm here to tell you that is not true. You can get your days off. I take my days off and there are no issues. Now, I can tell you from the teacher side, because you guys know I'm always talking about the teacher side, and you guys can always find out for your own, you know, area of specialization. But most times if you're working within a professional job, I'm not talking about working down at Burger King or at Walmart or anywhere that deals with like an hourly kind of thing. I'm talking about a place that pays you a set salary per month with benefits. That's what I'm talking about. Those places, you usually have days off that you get. So you usually have sick days, personal days perhaps, maybe your sick days and your personal days are morphed into one. Whatever the case is, you can take a day from work. And people will say, oh, but even if you can take a day from work, you can't call in at the last minute or you can't leave work. That's not true. Not no go so. That's not true. So in my instance, I'll speak about me personally. If I have sick days and I have personal days, because personal days are, as it suggests, personal, it's something that you usually know of before. It's not, you know, like sickness. When you get sick, you could be fine yesterday and this morning you suddenly feel sick. With a personal day, it's usually something that is planned, right? So for personal days, we have to inform not just inform, but we have to sign up for that from a week before. In some school districts, it's like 2 weeks before, and it has to be approved. If you are not approved for that personal day and you still go ahead and take that day, then you will have, you know, money being deducted from your salary. In most cases, your personal day will be approved. I think I applied for a personal day once that was not approved, and that's because it was literally a violation of my contract. Meaning, in our contract, we cannot take a personal day. I think just as after we've just, you know, come back from a holiday, and just as we're about to go into a holiday. So let's say we're about to go into the Christmas holiday. the last day before we go off for that holiday, we're not allowed to take a personal day, and the day just after we come back from that holiday, we're not allowed to take that as a personal day, because they're saying that you are just on holiday, you know, or just about to go on holiday. However, in the case where it's a sick day, yes, I could take a sick day for the last day just before a holiday, because if I'm sick and I can't do anything about it. So there are different rules that govern the thing, right? And what I did in that instance, I just chose a different day. I chose a different day. Now, sometimes, of course, personal matters come up on spot, and it's nothing that you have control of. Most times people just take a sick day because you have more sick days than personal days anyway. And I didn't say this before, so like I get 3 personal days for the year, which do not roll over into the next year. For my sick days, every month I accumulate 1 more sick day. So like when I just started working here in August of 2021, by the end of August I only had 1 sick day because I just started. By December I would have had August, September, October, November, December, 4 sick days accumulated already. And then by the end of the school year I would have had 10 to 12 sick days, and those roll over. So I started the next school year already with 12 sick days, and then by the end of that school year I have 24 sick days, and it continues, it keeps rolling over if you don't use them, right? So like I was saying before, usually like a personal day that comes up, like, you know, suddenly, something that's personal, you just take a sick day because you have those days at your disposal. So yes, you can take your sick days and personal days in the US, and nobody will be penalizing you for that. These are the days that are awarded to you. Use them. As it relates to taking off, like actually going, you know, the morning of, most times when people are sick, they call the morning of, because it's either you started feeling sick over the weekend and you were kind of watching it to see if you'd feel better, and then perhaps by the Monday morning you're like, okay, I definitely can't do this, I can't go to work. You just call your boss. Call your boss and say, I am unable to come in today. That's a sick day. And then when you get back to work, you sign up whatever form, or some organizations you can sign up online, or whatever the case is. Like for me, I sign up both. I do it online and I do it on paper as well. But you can call last minute to say, I cannot come in. It could be a situation where you were on your way to work and something happened. Let's say you got into a car accident, or your child suddenly started feeling ill and you just cannot make it into work. You call in sick. Now most places will tell you, just out of courtesy, you know, it would be nice if you tell me even an hour before that you're not, an hour before the start time, that you're not coming in. But if it's an emergency and you have to call in 10 minutes before the start time, you know, once you follow through and just call and let somebody know that you're not coming, you can go ahead and take a sick day. Nobody's going to punish you for that. Now, of course, bosses will be bosses anywhere you go around the world. No boss likes to know that their employee is not at work. So some bosses will show you a sour face, some will not. It all depends on their individual personalities. Personally, I've had 2 bosses since I've been here, and by bosses I mean principals. My former principal just left, and we have a new principal this school year, and I've found that they have both had a similar temperance in terms of when you call to say that you are not feeling well and you're not coming in, they're not like, oh, so you're not coming in, da, da, da. They're like, okay, get well soon and hope to see you again. That's it. So there's that. I've had an instance before where I've been at school already, and it was around 12 p.m. and I just started to feel dizzy, like so dizzy. And at that time I was like, okay, it's lunchtime now and I only have 1 more class for the rest of the day. I should just, you know, pull through and just do this 1 class and it will be over with. And I was telling some of my coworkers that, you know, I'm not feeling well, and they were like, go home. And I'm like, no. But that was because of how I guess I was trained from my former country. It just feels so bad. And not in all instances, because some institutions where you work or some places that you work, you know, you don't feel that way. But I was like, okay, I just feel bad to have to leave, and, you know, probably somebody else has to take over my class, or my class has to be split between other teachers. But I went to my AP, that's my assistant principal at the time, and I said, you know, before I could even finish my sentence, I just started to say I'm not feeling well. Before I could finish, because I was about to over-explain, he was like, go home and don't come back until you feel better. So do not be afraid to migrate to a new country. Get all the facts from those who are there before you start feeling afraid and saying that, oh, you can't go because you have children and you won't be able to do this and you won't be able to do that. Most of the people that you hear these things from are not professionals. These are people who are working at Burger King, Walmart, and some other places where if they do take a day and they do take off from work, it will definitely affect their pay because they're not working off of a set salary where they have benefits and whatnot, where they can just take off and it won't affect anything. Whichever area that you want to migrate into, be it engineering, be it the medical field, be it teaching, whatever industry that you want to go into, find out from the people who are working within those industries. And not because you're an international worker means that the rules for you will be different. No. You're a human being who is working within the same organization as everybody else. Whatever benefits are there for them in terms of days off will more than likely be there for you as well. Be it that you're on a J1 visa or an H1B visa, the contract you sign will be just the same as everybody else's contract, right? Otherwise, it would be discrimination based on your nationality or your race, which it's against the law to discriminate against people based on that factor. Now, one thing that actually irks my soul is I realize that when people try to migrate or they migrate for, seeking out a better life, I find that people who have not migrated but have perhaps heard some horror stories from other individuals who have migrated before, they automatically start to assume that you are also in that situation. I couldn't help but express myself thoroughly in the comment section the other day, and I tend to ignore, some negative comments. But I really had to, address a particular comment the other day. Somebody who was assuming that I ran away from my country and now I'm struggling. And I want to tell you guys, not everybody is here struggling. Not everybody is here struggling. And whether you are an engineer, nurse, teacher, lawyer, doctor, whatever you are, in terms of money, your salary will always be different from somebody else based on the state that you're in, the county that you're in, and based on the cost of living within your area. Your quality of life in terms of what you can do financially will always be different from somebody else's. So don't be scared to come here. You want to come, but you're scared to come here because you're like, oh, I'm not finna work for $35,000 because that's what my friend is working for. That may not be your portion, and perhaps your friend is working for $35,000. However, maybe you start working for $50,000 yearly, and your friend who is working for $35,000 can actually save more money than you, who are working more. Guys, my English sometimes is like, wait, what am I saying? But you get what I'm trying to say. So they can probably save more than you, even though you are working more than that person. Perhaps their rent is for like $200. I'm not saying I know anybody whose rent is for $200. Just an example. Maybe their rent is for $200 and your rent is for like $1,000. Maybe in their area, they can get their groceries on a monthly basis for $100 and you have to get yours for $800. So everything, boils down to your individual situation. Maybe your friend, maybe you migrate with a family of 5 and your friend migrated just with, himself and his wife and 1 child. Everybody's situation is different. Do not assume that everybody is running to different countries and that they're struggling. I have said it multiple times on this channel that I am grateful for this opportunity to be here in the US because my quality of life has definitely improved. There are so many things that I could not have done back when I was in Jamaica that I can now do, and I would encourage anybody to come and test the waters for themselves and see if it will work for them. Now, I always say if you come and you don't like it, feel free to go back home. Now, you guys would realize most people, think about anybody that you know of who has ever migrated to a different country, be it the US, the UK, China, Japan, Canada, anywhere. How many of those people have actually returned to their home country? If the home country is Nigeria, Ghana, India, Taiwan, wherever your home country is and you're watching this right now, how many of those individuals have actually returned to their home country. Maybe 1%. Maybe 1%. There is no way that people can actually look at you and say you're running out of the frying pot and into the fire. There's literally no one, or almost no one, going back to their home country. There must be something better, something that these countries provide that your home country was not providing for you, that, you know, that's causing these people to stay. So my message to you is, this is your sign to migrate if you've always been thinking about it, but you are just wondering, you're worried about what will be, how you will manage. This is your sign to go ahead and take that step with a leap of faith. If you don't like it, go back home. And like I've said multiple times on this channel, nowhere is perfect. Absolutely nowhere is just 100% perfect. So will there be struggles in different areas? Sure. Like I've never hidden this fact on my channel. I've always said, boy, you know, I'm making more money. However, the price to pay for that is that my students are not as well behaved as my students in Jamaica. And what I would consider to be bad behavior in Jamaica is decent behavior here. And I wish I had that bad behavior back from home here in the US. I've always said it, that that's my biggest con to migrating here in the US as a teacher. That's my biggest con. But every day I come to work and I say to myself, you know what, there are 24 hours in a day and I'm only teaching for 3 hours out of the day. Yes, that's what I said. There are 24 hours in a day and I am only teaching for 3 hours out of the 24 hours. So while I may be at work for 8 hours, I'm literally just teaching for 3 hours. So I count down. I have my 6th graders, 1 hour gone. 7th graders, another hour gone. 8th graders, that hour has finished. I'm done with them for the day. Yes, I have my other teacher stuff to do. I have duties to do, lesson planning to do, and all those things. But given that I said that my major issue is student behavior, I have 3 hours of that. And most of the time, if you don't say student behavior, most of the time it's 1 out of those 3 hours. One class is usually the difficult class. The other students, pretty decent. Angelic, if you want to call it that. Angelic. Anywho, you get what I'm trying to say. Another misconception that I've heard is that because you're in the US and you're now struggling, you have to have 2 jobs. You have to work 2 jobs, 3 jobs to make ends meet. Like I said, the professionals that I know don't have to do any such thing. Now, what happens is that you will find that many individuals will have 2 or 3 jobs simply because they are available. Now, if you're coming from a country like mine, Jamaica, where it's not very flexible, the working hours are not very flexible, and most places are hiring you on a full-time basis, and when they even say part-time, it's just not flexible. When you have a full-time job, it's very difficult to find a second job if you want to, because perhaps you have the time on your hands. Maybe you do want extra money, and wanting extra money, please don't get it twisted, it's different from needing extra money. Let me say that one more time. Wanting extra money is far different from needing extra money. When you need extra money, this is implying that if you don't have this extra money, your bills cannot be paid, and your bills, which includes, you know, your grocery, your rent, your light, your water, your phone bill, everything. That's different from wanting. Maybe you just want the extra cash so that when you do your frivolous spending, you won't feel as bad. Totally different thing. So we've always heard that the USA, this is the land of opportunity, and that's true. It's the land of opportunity. I came here and I realized that students in high school are working at fast food restaurants and whatnot, trying to get themselves money. Some of them need it, some of them want it, some of them just want something to do to pass their time, but this is available. In Jamaica, there's a job shortage in some areas. And many people, and I can tell you that because I have my sister has a degree in engineering, and it's very difficult to find a job in her field. And so when you come to the US, where jobs are just like everywhere has a "we're hiring" sign, especially for those fast food restaurants and clothing stores, everywhere has "we're hiring," everywhere is hiring. Right? And for some of these places, you can do a 2 hours or 3 hour shift and you just get paid, you know, by the hour. So if you are a teacher, By the way, it's illegal to do any other job on a J1 or H1 visa legally. Yes, let me put that in there. But if you are here and you're able to legally to work a job outside of your job because you have the time, like I find myself, I'm at home most times just watching TV doing nothing, and that's why I got myself occupied in 2 ways this year. Decided to do some courses, and something else, I just decided to get myself occupied in 2 ways because I have the time on my hands. Now, people who are able to legally work some of these jobs, they're just like, okay, I leave work, I have some time on my hands, or the weekend I have nothing to do, let me just do 2 jobs, 3 jobs, whatever amount of jobs they want to do, 10 jobs, because it's at your disposal. Like I was saying, because you guys know I like to twist and turn when I'm speaking sometimes. But in Jamaica, for those who are not from Jamaica, let's say you are a teacher and you want to work at KFC at the end of the day or on the weekend. This isn't possible because KFC isn't offering that sort of flexibility. Even if they say part-time would still mean that they require that to come in for a set amount of hours per week at their set time. Versus you saying to the employer, listen, I can come in from 10 o'clock to 12 o'clock every Saturday, and from 5 o'clock to 8 o'clock or 9 o'clock again Saturday evening. It's just not possible. It's just not flexible, right? And so when you are here and you have that opportunity, you have that flexibility, you want to maximize on that as much as possible. And that is why you will see many people coming to places or countries such as the US and working several jobs. And for those of you who have already migrated from your country, don't let anyone make you feel some sort of way about migrating for your betterment. Okay, there are some bad-minded people who cannot see the good in anything, and to make themselves feel better, they start to shame you for the choices that you have made, right? And I say this because I find that many people, they'll be like, oh, all these teachers, for example, there was this post, well, there have been several posts about teachers recently who migrated for the 2023-2024 school year from Jamaica, and then there are the haters in the comments who will say, oh, many of these teachers are running off to these foreign countries not knowing that they'll have to be dealing with bad behavior and poor salaries. Honey, not everyone is struggling. Yes, there's a lot of bad behaviors because most of us are placed in the schools where there's a lot of help needed, where the students are from backgrounds, challenged backgrounds, and they bring that to school. Sure. But if it's a case where we were struggling to the point where it's just unbearable, trust me, honey, we would go back home. All right? When you come into these environments, it's a shocker at first, most definitely. After a while, you get used to it and you learn your flow. You learn how to operate. You learn how to make things work for you. You learn how to improve your classroom management skills, because even if you thought that you were, how does the Jamaican saying go? Bull, buck, and dopey conqueror. I don't know if that's how it goes. Don't chastise me for not saying it well. But even if you thought that you were that raging storm in your classroom back home, and you come here and the kids, they're not responding the way the students back home would, trust and believe you will still find their flow after some time of being here. Some people get it right, you know, right off the bat. But whatever happens, whether it takes you an instant amount of time, you know, whether it happens for you instantly or it takes you some time to find your flow and get it right, trust me, you will get it right. And after some time, you might even start walking around saying, wow, I love my job. Thank God for my job. Like I'm saying, even this school year, I literally have 6 classes. I have them every other day. So 3 classes per day, but 6 classes in all for the week. And I literally, out of my 6 classes, I have 1 class that I can say, boy, I'm not very enthusiastic about seeing this class on a weekly basis. 1 class out of 6. And even when I was in Jamaica, I always had that 1 class that I was like, I gotta see them. You know, it's just how it is. But yeah, where was I going? Don't let anybody let you feel bad or feel anyway, like feel like you're an idiot for migrating. Oh, Jamaican teachers are complaining about money and you're still going to go overseas and complain about the money. Can I tell you, let's be real, guys. Let's reason. Come back with reason. There are so many people who come to the US and they didn't plan properly. Before you come here, the money that you will be earning is not a secret. You don't get on that plane without knowing how much you will be earning first, okay? And if you are able to see the money that you're going to get, and after doing your calculations, you realize that it's not going to work, there's no way under God that you're going to take up yourself and still migrate. Or maybe you've worked it out in your head to say, all right, based on my individual circumstance, for the first 3 months, I might be struggling a little bit because perhaps you had a loan about this and different things to do. But you've made up in your mind that, okay, after 3 months or after 6 months, I should be okay. Sometimes you make those sacrifices and that is perfectly fine, right? But there are so many people who come here. I'm not just talking about teachers now. I'm talking about workers, different categories of workers who come here and suddenly they want to live a lavish lifestyle. And I've said this multiple times on my platform in different videos, and I just have to mention it again. Don't come here expecting to live a lavish lifestyle, because a lavish lifestyle will require lavish money, and that's money that you don't have. Nobody said that migrating from your country to the US will make you into a millionaire in the US. So you can't come here and try to live a millionaire lifestyle when you're not a millionaire. Yes, you're earning more. And people would be like, oh, it's the same thing. It works out to the same thing what you're earning here when you consider the cost of living. Personally, I don't think it works out to the same thing. It's still more. Because when I was in Jamaica, same profile as I am right now, no children, my husband, we have our own home, we're paying mortgage and whatnot. And when we wanted to take a vacation, we still had to save for months before we could take that vacation. We could have just get up and say, you know what, I feel like going to Cuba next week. I can do that here if I want to, but I'm not stupid. I'm not going to take a vacation every month because I'm not going to be stupid about it. I'm going to try to work with the resources that I have and save as much as I can, save for a rainy day, save towards my goals. But I'm not coming here to live paycheck to paycheck. It's not the same. And you guys know how transparent I am. When I was in Jamaica, from time to time, but I have to, you know, borrow a little money from my mother. I don't borrow from people except for my family members. Borrow a little money from my mother to do whatever, like especially when I was studying and doing my master's. That was a tough time for me, especially because I chose, stupid me, to study online completely, which was not subsidized by the government. So when everybody else was paying $300,000, I was there paying big bad $800,000 for my program. So that was difficult. That was definitely a difficult time for me. Now I'm here, I'm studying again, and it's all out of my pocket, and I'm not feeling a thing. If I still want to take a vacation next week, I still can. So when I say your quality of life improves, it improves. And once again, it's all about your individual circumstance. Okay? Remember, I'm married. I don't have children. I don't own any loans right now. But when I got here, I had loans. I had loans when I got here. And I told you guys already in previous videos that I was able to pay off my loans within my first year of being here with ease. And still save for something. Right? So coming here has been beneficial to me, and I'll say this and I keep saying it, and I know it's becoming a bit redundant. If you are in a foreign country and it's not working out for you and you think being in Jamaica is better, go back home. No watch no face. But if you are still here and complaining to people that it's not better, you're being a hypocrite. Don't do that. We don't like hypocrites over here. We like people who tell us as it is, people who live in their truth, and don't lead people astray. I will always tell people, if you want to migrate, migrate and test the waters. It might just be for you. And if the water bitter and not sweet, go back home. These are my few words. I hope y'all have been motivated or encouraged to take that leap and migrate, Do not watch what the negative people are. You guys ever notice that some people only have negative things to say? Never have a positive word in their mouth before? I have a word for it, and it's called bad mind. They don't want to see you prosper. They don't want to see you move on in life. I'm packing up because I started this video and did this video because I was waiting on my husband to come get me. See, we're here. We don't have a car loan here. And I'm not bashing teachers or workers who come here and get a car loan. If you have to get a car loan to get by, fine. But for us, we gladly took the bus until we were able to buy a car. And we didn't buy any expensive car. We told ourselves we're not here on any green card. We're here on a J1 visa, which means we can go home at any time. So we bought a little 2009 car. Yes, not no big year. We have our mechanic who is also Jamaican, so we were comfortable to do that. Only one person has ever owned the car, so we're comfortable with all of that. I would say we just need a car to get us from point A to point B. We don't need no big bashment to look good. Once the car not pop down or whatever, it's still in good, you know. It's awesome. So yeah, and it's funny because when we're in Jamaica, we had cars that were newer cars actually. But we said that we're coming here, we're not buying no new car because we're coming here to see if it can work. And if we happen to become green card holders, or we move on to a different stage in being here and we realize that we're really going to stay here, then sure, we can step it up a little bit, buy a newer car, buy this, that, and, you know, live a little bit more lavish. But for now, simplicity is what we say. Guys, I'm home now, and I know it's a dark video. I couldn't bother to turn on my light, but I wanted to add a little bit more about the car, just in case anybody watching is also wondering. So we did not use a car mart. We started looking at the car marts and we realized that almost every car mart, they didn't have anything less for that than like $18,000, and we were like, no, we're not finna do that. We're not gonna do that. And so we went on the app Up4Up. I think I spoke about Up4Up on a different video already. And we also used Carfax to check the facts of the car. So we went on Up4Up, we looked at the different cars that were there, went on Carfax to check to see if the car had been in any accidents or how many previous owners were there. Once we found one that we were very interested in, we called our mechanic. Like I said, this mechanic is also a Jamaican. And he came and he looked at the car with us. And when I say with us, it's really in my husband because I wasn't going anywhere and doing anything. They dealt with that. Right, and he checked out the car to see if it was okay. Since then, somebody else here, you know, I gave them the mechanic link, and that person was able to do a similar thing and get her car without a car loan here, or without using the car marts or whatever. Right, well, I think she used a car mart, but it was one that was very reasonable. Yes, so if you come here and you say to yourself that you're not going to purchase a car for a certain amount, and then when you go to the car mart or wherever you're purchasing the car, you realize it's over your budget, that's where you sink yourself already if you decide to go ahead and purchase a vehicle that is outside of your budget. And that's where you start to go downhill. You start to go downhill because you set yourself off the track that you had planned to be on. You start messing up yourself right there, and you're like, okay, I didn't want to pay more than, if you're doing a car loan situation, I didn't want to pay more than $400 per month for this car, or $500 per month for this car. But what's $100 more? No, that's where you're already sinking yourself, because now you're setting yourself back by $100 every month. That is $1,200 for the year extra that you did not plan for initially, and for how many years? So try to stick with your budget and know what you can work with. Not because you see your friends with brand new vehicles, hype vehicles and whatnot, mean that you have to be in the same situation. Now I know that not everybody, like my husband and I, and maybe that's why we're such a good match, we're very humble people. Like I said, yes, we had better cars in Jamaica, but we're humble people and we know what we're about. If it's one thing we agree upon, is the goal that we have for being here. And we're not about to go off that track. So we plan accordingly, we set our budget, we set our goals, we're on a mission, and that's that. And another thing, guys, remember that purchasing your car from a car mart doesn't mean that the car is going to be any better than if you purchase it from somebody who is selling their car. I've seen about 3 individuals already here who purchased their vehicles from car marts, and within a month or two the car is giving problem already, and the whole aim was, okay, buy from a car mart, so the chances are less of, you know, having issues, and because I don't know any mechanic here, I don't want to make good decisions. Make good decisions. And some of the car marts, you're probably saying, yeah, they're going to offer warranty, but read the fine print. The warranty that you want is not perhaps what they are offering. Okay, these people are tricksters. Now guys, if you are at this part of the video and anything that I said has resonated with you, please hashtag facts in the comment section. Once again, please hashtag facts in the comment section below so that I can know that something that I said made sense to you. And guys, if you have your own experiences or you have questions, because if you have questions about things that people have been saying about working in the US and you want clarity on these things, feel free to ask in the comment section. Myself or maybe somebody else who has been through that situation can actually respond and give you that clarity and ease your mind so that you can feel more comfortable to actually migrate and take that step. Bye y'all, thank you for watching. Remember to subscribe. We are on our way to 5,000 subscribers. Lots of love. Bye.